Happy New Year, folks. Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're breaking down the New Year's Day edition, the January 1st, 2024 edition, specifically, of Raw Talk. Megan Moran, Matt Camp in the studio. Raw was the Day 1 edition on Monday night. A very good show overall, I thought. A fun 3 hours. Great main event, Rock returning, and that's immediately what they got into to open up the episode here, replaying the entire Rock's return, not the entire segment, obviously, but Rock coming out, confronting Jinder Mahal, laying him out, and also teasing a head-of-the-table comment. Now, they don't really delve into that, the idea of a Roman Reigns-Rock matchup. Camp kind of plays it off as comedy, like, oh, he's going to sit at the head of the table at the bar and fucking this place in wherever they were last night in San Diego at a restaurant, blah, blah, blah. Kind of joking about his comment, not really taking it seriously. And he knew what he was doing. It was all tongue-in-cheek, obviously. But what I'm saying is that they didn't really talk about it too much to make me think they're doing that match imminently. Meaning that they're probably going to circle back around to it either at Elimination Chamber or at WrestleMania. Now, I fucking hope it's the former. I won't talk about it here in depth. I'll save that for hashtag tomorrow, WrestleRant Radio on Thursday, what have you. But I am not a fan of Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. If it means bumping back the Cody match or not doing it at all, the rematch between the two, they are doing that match, and they better fucking do it at WrestleMania. Rock and Roman sounds cool. Like, I've always wanted to see that match for the last couple of years since Roman went heel. But you do it at Elimination Chamber in front of 70,000 people in that big stadium there. You do not do it at WrestleMania and mess up all the Mania plans you currently have in place for that pay-per-view. But anyway, back in the studio, they run down the biggest headlines from Monday's show, including recapping the Nia Jax win over Becky Lynch. A pretty good match, actually. Probably Nia's best match since coming back, and one of the best matches she's arguably ever had. Jax, and I hate to say it because I'm not really a Nia Jax fan, but she has been used well since coming back to the company. She's had some decent matches, been built up well, and she won clean, too. So we hear backstage from Nia Jax alongside Kathy Kelly, who filled in for Jackie Redmond on the show. Nia Jax said that her win felt amazing over Becky Lynch. She did what she set out to do. She did what she said she would do. And she, when asked about Kathy, or from Kathy, about The Rock returning, and oh, you have family in the building, any comments about that? Nia says, I'll let him speak for himself. Which was funny because you really haven't seen Rock talk a whole lot about Nia Jax in the last couple of months, or last couple of years, rather. I think he may have commented on her when she was still in NXT back in 2016. From my understanding, I don't know this as a fact, it's just stuff I've seen online, and again, take that with a grain of salt, but it would check out because you really haven't seen them interact or talk about each other at all in a long time. The Rock is no fan of Nia Jax, and maybe vice versa as well. So I thought that was a funny question. Not that that was the intent of the question, to kind of get under her skin, knowing they're not on good terms. But I thought it was funny they asked about it, which was relevant because they are a family. In reality, though, I'm not too sure they're on the best of terms, or Rock is really overly favorable of Nia. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, they recap the Rhea Ripley-Ivy Nile Women's World Championship matchup, with Rhea Ripley going over. Good match. Ivy Nile, very impressive performance from her. Rhea retains again, obviously. Matt Camp says to take nothing away, for as impressive as Ivy was, to take nothing away from Rhea Ripley and the dominant champion she has been since WrestleMania 39. We hear backstage from DIY with Byron Saxton, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, saying they've wanted the tag team titles for a very long time now. They've talked about it since they were in NXT. They call those tag team titles the Endgame. No pun intended. Not a pun, but like the reference to Avengers Endgame. That's what I kind of took it as, because I know Johnny Gargano's a big Avengers guy, Marvel fan, whatever. Ciampa says they're back in their groove now, and they call Judgment Day the ultimate test for them as a tag team now that they're back together. And they hope to prove all the naysayers wrong, and Johnny says that they're hungry for tag team championship gold. So hopefully we get to see that match at some point. I would actually really like to see Judgment Day versus DIY at WrestleMania, with DIY beating Judgment Day there. I would be fine, as long as DIY is the team to take those titles from Judgment Day at some point, I'm perfectly content. That is perfectly fine by me. It's more a matter of when they do it. If they do it on the sooner side, the question then becomes, what do you do at WrestleMania with the Judgment Day? I guess the same thing with DIY, because the tag team division really isn't overly strong. They've got some good teams, but what's a meaningful tag team title match you could do at WrestleMania coming off of the main event last year with the Usos, Owens, and Zayn? I don't really know what the answer to that would be, but we'll see where they kind of, how it shakes out. They could very well, DIY could very well just lose to Judgment Day. They could very well just be the latest challengers of the month. I guess we'll find out in due time. But I am looking forward to that match, though, when we get it. They then replay the Cody Rhodes Shinsuke Nakamura segment, confirming their rematch for next week and the hype up said match for next week's show. Matt Camp says that Nakamura needs a standout performance coming off that DQ loss to Cody last month. He needs to really back up his words and live up to the hype as far as being superior to Cody and whatever and wanting to finish his story. They also hype for next week's show CM Punk's return to Raw for the first time in about a month, so I'm looking forward to that, and as far as what he'll say and what he'll do and whatever. They recap the Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler tag team win over Tegan Nox and Natalya, won by Stark and Shayna, that is. We hear from Baszler and Stark afterward. Baszler says that she's ready to clean up that tag team division every time she kind of walks away from the division after having fucking Nia as a partner, Ronda, and now Zoe, among probably other people as well. She's won the tag team championships on three separate occasions, and that does not even include the NXT Women's Tag Team title one that she and Ronda got earlier in 2023. She says that she's back in the tag team division to clean it up alongside the latest badass that she found in Zoe Stark, and then Zoe Stark says that they're in the division to dominate it and wants people to take those tag team titles seriously. Good luck with that, Zoe. No one gives a fuck about that division, a lot like no one cared about that match last night. I like all the women involved. I'm a big Tegan Nox fan. Shayna, Zoe are very talented. Natalya is Natalya. At this point, I do not give a shit about those titles or the division. I'm sorry. And that is not their fault. That is the company's fault in the past 5 years for not making me care more about those belts. I apologize, but that's just what it is. To close out the show, they recap the World Heavyweight Championship main event. Seth Rollins beating Drew McIntyre to retain, complete with controversy, with Damian Priest attempting to cash in, failing to do so. Not even failing to cash in, but teasing cashing in, and then being thwarted. So it was not an official cash-in. And also, Matt Camp says that Rollins has been an outstanding World Heavyweight Champion. So they don't really tease that there's anything more to come from Rollins and McIntyre. Like, oh, McIntyre could have won if he didn't get Rollins' foot on the rope. They made no mention of that, which kind of makes me feel like they're moving on from that feud, which then begs the question, if that's the case, what do you do with Rollins at the Royal Rumble? I still think we get another match between them at the Royal Rumble, but I'm not exactly sure how you get there. I mean, again, I guess McIntyre can claim I had you beat before your foot was on the rope, but still, it's fucking cheap. Like, McIntyre lost. And he also lost at Crown Jewel 2 months ago. There's no reason to do another match. They should have done some other lame finish, but to me, that was not worthy of a rematch of the Royal Rumble, at least in my opinion. But to close out the show, they hype up the WWE preview special for Thursday on Peacock and the Best of the Bump show coming up on Wednesday. So that was the January 1st, 2024 edition of Raw Talk, a solid show hearing from Zoe, Shayna, DIY, kind of announcing their intentions to challenge for the tag team title. Zoe and Shayna as well. And we also heard from Nia Jax coming off her win over Becky Lynch. So pretty standard show here, but I thought it was fine. A good first edition of Raw Talk to kick off the new year. Thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.